You know it's this. Take a perk and a talk of that shit. Money swallowing like sis. Did it perfect in the kid. Got a billion who sang on my head. Look up better put on the road I just spent. I know we got $1 million. The devil that shit ain't not cheaper than again.
Hello and welcome back, fellow anime lovers, to MangaMuse. I am delighted to have you join us once again in the world of fanfiction and fantasy. This is the second part of What If Naruto Enters Proud Family. Special note, this fanfic is written and a masterpiece of KFB Anime 87 on FANFICTIONnet. Do check and support the author too. Now smash the like, share and subscribe button for more. Also press the bell icon so that you never miss such great parts. Thanks for the introduction. Now let's dive into the world. Proud home. Penny was in her room getting ready for school and she was finally off grounding from that party. Penny! Get down here and feed this demon you call a cat. Oscar yelled upstairs. Maybe if you wouldn't try to feed her your proud snacks, Tabi would like you more. Penny said as she came down the steps. Hey, this recipe had shrimp in it. Cats love shrimp, Oscar said with a scowl before one of his snacks hit him in the head courtesy of Tabi. Not Tabasco flavored you dimwit, Suga Mama said from the couch. Tabi, who sat on one of her cat stands, made a gagging sound at this. Ah, poor Tabi, here, let's get you some real food, Penny said with a smile as she headed for the kitchen. Tabi, Tabi, make up your mind on what to call it. Oscar said with a roll of his eyes. It's a nickname, little bro, kinda like when the kids would call you Meyer. Oh, Bobby sang with a smile. Oscar. Meyer, you mean like the hot dog? Penny asked with a smile breaking out on her face. Oh yeah, child. Bobby sang. Penny covered her mouth to hide her laughter at this. Thank you, Bobby. Oscar said flatly. No problem, little bro, Bobby sang with a smile. The sound of a motorcycle revving could be heard outside. Oh God, the hoodlum has his death machine back. Oscar said. Oh yeah, Naruto's taking me to school since he got his bike back, Penny said as she reached into the umbrella stand and pulled out a pink helmet. When did you get that? Oscar asked. Naruto gave it to me by Daddy, Penny said as she quickly opened the door and ran out to Naruto. I said no riding that death trap. Oscar yelled as he ran after Penny. See you later, Mr. Proud. Naruto said as he raced off once Penny was secured in her seat. Oh, I'm gonna get that kid one of these days. Oscar said. Yeah, and then you will make a edible snack, Kurama said, making his presence known. Aren't you supposed to be around that kid's neck? Not today, I owe you for trying to torture me, Kurama said with an evil grin. Oscar yelled as he ran back in the house and locked the door. Moron, Kurama said as he spotted a pet door on the front door. That fox wants to kill me. Oscar said with his back to the door. Dummy, did you forget the little door we put in for Puff and the cat? Suga Mama said. Kurama then poked his head through the pet door and chomped on Oscar's leg. Oh UCH, and I thought Puff had bite. Oscar said as he shook his leg. Tabi, sick him, he yelled to the cat. Then Tabi leapt not onto Kurama but onto Oscar's face. Mama. Sorry boy, next time stick to feeding your monkeys your snacks, Suga Mama said with a smile. Mr. Chips and his fellow monkeys unionized, now get them off me. Oscar yelled as he tried to shake the mad pets off him. Well, think about this, raise one hand to them and you have one angry Penny to deal with and one angry blonde boy to deal with. Suga Mama said. Trudy. Oscar yelled in desperation. Trudy then walked into the room and rolled her eyes. Come on you two, I have fish and steak, she said. This got their attention immediately as the animals ran into the kitchen letting Oscar go. Well, I think I found animals I'm more afraid of than you and Puff Mama. Oscar said as he approached the couch where Suga Mama was sitting. Ha, then my grandbaby chose the right animal then. Oh, and before I forget, Suga Mama said before she smacked Oscar in the knee with her cane. Ouch. Later at school. Naruto was heading into gym class where he saw Sticky talking to another teen boy who had darker skin and his hair up in dreads. "Hey Sticky, who's your friend?" Naruto said as he ran over. "Hey Naruto, this is Duke," Sticky said, getting Naruto with a fist bump. "Sup bruda?" Duke said with a surfer accent as he held out his fist out to fist bump. Naruto fist bumped Duke before he spotted the PE teacher Coach Collins. "Oh god, this guy," he muttered to himself. "Alright maggots, file and we're playing baseball today," Collins said to his assembled class. "Who are team captains, daddy?" a teen boy in a sweater and wearing a sweatband asked. "I said call me coach, that's 20 laps, Collins said with an unamused look. Naruto watched as the teen boy went to go do laps before he turned to Sticky. "What's his deal?" he asked. "Oh, that's coach's son Michael," Sticky said. "Why's he so rough on him?" Naruto asked as he had noticed that the coach was harsh to Michael from the few times he had seen them interact. Sticky paused at this and contemplated how to tell Naruto this. "Michael doesn't play for the team his dad would prefer," he said. "Huh?" Naruto asked with a tilt of his head. Duke chuckled a little at this as Sticky had told him Naruto was a little clueless. "He's closeted bruda," he whispered to Naruto. Naruto paused at this and realized what they meant. "Ah," he said with a nod, finally getting it. "Not just harsh to Michael, rumor is he's kinda sexist to girls. Should have seen the face he made when one of the girls tried going for one of the sports teams," Duke said. "Well, that's just stupid," Naruto said with a shake of his head at this. "Also, I heard he's so rough on Mike due to him not liking the fact Michael is closeted," Sticky whispered. Naruto frowned at this and watched as Michelle finished his laps and didn't look tired. "Okay Uzumaki and Proud, your team captains, go ahead and pick your teams," Collins yelled. Naruto nodded at this. "Michael," he called out to the teen, who was surprised before he smiled and went to where Naruto stood. After a few moments Naruto and Penny had their teams and were getting ready to play. "Thanks for picking me Naruto," Michael said with a smile as they all watched Duke go up to bat. "You're welcome man," Naruto said with a nod. "Most guys don't choose me first for the team," Michael said. "Then they don't see that you're obviously a good player, plus I don't discriminate," Naruto said. Michael paused at this as his eyes widened. "You know?" he asked, surprised. "Dude, everyone knows," Sticky said from his seat. "Yeah, and anyone that matters won't care, buddy," Naruto said with a smile while Sticky nodded in agreement as they watched Penny pitch at Duke. "Yeah," Duke said as he hit the ball hard, sending it flying. The girls on Penny's team all scrambled to catch it before the ball hit Olei in the head. Thankfully it did nothing since she was tougher than a brick wall. Later after school, Naruto, Sticky and Duke were all heading out of the school. "So what you wanna do?" Naruto asked his two friends as really had no plans. "Actually I'm kinda hungry bruda, let's get something," Duke said as he held his stomach. "Then we should head for Naruto's mom's restaurant, friends of his get a discount," Sticky said with a smile as he remembered his good the meal he had there last time was. Naruto nodded at this. Beside he spotted Michael walking out of the school. "Hey Michael, you up to get something to eat?" he called out. Michael looked at Naruto and his friends at this and nodded as he followed them as they left the school. Meanwhile with Penny, she was talking to her friends as they got ready to leave. "Bad news girlfriends, looks like word got out to my parents that Naruto has a part-time job, so now my parents are wanting me to get a part-time job," Daijone said. "Yeah, my parents heard too," Zoe said with a sigh. "Yeah, Miss Kushina got to my mom telling her I should be earning my own money," Lacey Aniga said with a frown. Penny nodded at this as she was expected to get a part-time job by her dad too since she now has a pet. "Any ideas for jobs?" Daijone asked with a frown. "Well, Miss Kushina's restaurant is hiring pretty much anyone right now as they don't have many workers, so we could be part-time waitresses," Penny said. "I don't know," Daijone said as she and the other girls hesitated. "Well, considering she pays her own son pretty good working for her, the pay's got to be good," Penny said. "Plus any excuse to work with Naruto, right?" Zoe asked with a knowing smile. "I'm in." Lacey Aniga said with her own smile as she hadn't thought of the idea of working with Naruto. Okay girls, let's head to the rising tide, Penny said with a smile as they all left the school. With Naruto. Naruto and his friends entered the rising tide and Kushina smiled as she spotted them. Hey brat, it's your day off, what are you doing here? Kushina asked with a chuckle. My friends were hungry and I figured they would like something more filling than a wizard burger, Naruto said as him and his friends approached. Wizard this, wizard that, man has to have his name on everything, Kushina grumbled. Sticky looked around at all the customers the restaurant had, keep it up with being popular and the man may show up here instead, he said. Oh, I hope he does, Kushina said with a grin. Does your mom hate the whiz or something? Duke asked. She doesn't like smug rich people, Naruto said with a sigh as he had heard her rant about this among other things all his life. Or the food they make in their restaurants, saw one burger and it was practically raw. If you're gonna make a restaurant, get chefs that know what they're doing. Kushina said. Sticky held his stomach at this as his face turned slightly green. Okay, who are your new friends? Kushina asked with a smile. You already met Sticky, but this is Duke and this is Michael. Naruto said. Well, take a seat, your royal dukeness, Kushina said with a friendly smile to show she meant no harm. Haha. Duke said sarcastically as he sat down. Kushina looked at Michael and noticed he was a little nervous as he sat down. Are you okay, kid? She asked as she handed him a menu along with the other boys. Yes, Miss Kushina, I'm just not used to going out with other guys, I usually hang out with Penny and her girls, Michael said. Kushina paused at this before she nodded in understanding. I get you, most guys either mock you or ignore you, huh? Yeah, especially cause of what I am. Michael said with a frown. Yeah, well, their loss, kid, you be yourself, and if your dad says something, Kushina said before she threw the hatchet she was holding into her cutting board, embedding it in the wood. Michael smiled at this before everyone opened his menu. Hey ho, crew in the house, Daijoni said as the girls showed up. Oh great, Sticky said with a sigh as he knew Daijone would eventually find his new hiding spot. Penny, you and your girls hungry? Kushina asked with a smile. Well, actually yes, but that's not why we're here. Penny said. We're here to get part-time jobs. Lacey Aniga said. Kushina looked at them and smiled. Your mom took my advice and cut off your allowance, huh? She asked. Naruto coughed on his drink at this. You all better watch what you're getting yourselves into, he said. Shut up, brat, or no ramen for a week, Kushina said with a glare. Yes ma'am, Naruto quickly said as he knew when to shut up. Kushina looked at Penny and the girls for a few moments before he nodded. Okay, I'll give you all a chance, but don't expect special treatment just because me and your moms are friends, she said to Penny and Lacey Aniga. Oh, how bad can it be, Daijone said with a shrug as she figured working here can't be as bad as taking care of her siblings. I'll be sure to tell your story to future generations, Naruto said with a smirk while the other boys laughed. I don't see the big deal, you work here, how hard can it be, Lacey Aniga said. Famous last words, spoiled girl, Naruto said with a smile at his friend. Okay ladies, take a apron and get a last prayer in, you belong to me now. Kushina yelled as she threw some aprons at the girls. Miss Kushina? Penny asked curiously as she held up her apron which had the word trainee on it. Well, that's depressing, Zoe said, finding this to be degrading. And let's get something straight, whatever I tell you, goes, whatever he tells you when I'm not here goes, Kushina said, throwing a glance at Naruto. Not too late to back out, Naruto told them. Yeah, it is, Kushina said with a grin at her new victims/employees. Later in the kitchen. Alright ladies, let's get to work. Kushina instructed the girls. Soon the four got to work on their first job, a very basic washing dishes. Kushina walked by each of the girls taking a look at their work so far. Penny and Zoe were diligently working away cleaning dishes, and from the stack she had both were clean and sparkling. Daijone, while not bad, still had a few drops and smudges on them, making her have to clean them over again. Then came Lacey Aniga, who was pretty much preoccupied looking over nails and checking her reflection in her phone. While she was giving some posses she failed to notice a stack of dirty dishes and knocked them to the ground, causing everyone to groan and cringe at the sounds of dirty dishes breaking on the floor. Oops. Lacianiga said with a nervous chuckle. Kushina glared at the Latina girl, handing her a broom and dustpan and pointing to the broken plates. And after you finish, you'll do 100 push-ups as punishment. Kushina stated, much to the girl's shock. Oh man. Lacianiga said. Next came peeling and chopping vegetables. To her surprise, Daijone was proving to be the best when it came to peeling spuds and chopping up vegetables. Not bad, Brown. Kushina remarked with a nod of respect. When you have as many brothers and sisters as I do, you've gotta learn to work fast in the kitchen. Daijone stated. Zoe held the knife over a carrot with a shaking hand. Kushina walked up behind her and gently took hold of her wrist. It's fine, Zoe, you've just got to steady your pace and focus. Don't worry about mistakes, cause that'll get in the way. Just concentrate on what's in front of you. Kushina instructed. Zoe gulped a bit but nodded as she focused on the carrot and started to chop away, slowly building up her pace as she did so. She came over to Penny, who was also doing a good job too. I see Trudy has been giving you some cooking lessons. Kushina said with a smile. Yeah, when she heard I was interested in cooking she insisted on helping me get the basics down. Penny said. Good to hear. Kushina said, looking over the chopped vegetables laid on in front of Penny. Careful though, Penny, a few slices are becoming a bit uneven, make sure to take in the portions you chop up. Kushina instructed. The eldest proud child nodded and kept up her chopping. Kushina got to Lacianiga and found that all her slices were uneven, and a few were out on the floor. She groaned at this and looked over to Lacianiga, tending to her nails. Lacianiga felt a wave of dread washing over her and looked up to see Kushina holding up her bakken. 145. 146. 147. Kushina shouted as Lacianiga once again started to do push-ups with a large bump on her head. Oh, and don't bother calling your mommy, Sunset already gave me the green light. To pop you good if you don't shape up. So put up and shut up. Kushina stated. Lacianiga muttered something in Spanish, grumbling. And news flash, I know Spanish too. Kushina said with a glare. Lacianiga groaned at this as she continued to do push-ups. The next day at school. Naruto, Sticky and Duke walked into the cafeteria for lunch and spotted the girls at their table and they looked tired. Let me guess, Mom ran you ragged? Naruto asked as he sat down next to Penny. Is that what you have to go through every day? Lacianiga asked, looking more tired than the others. Yup, Mom, is quite a task, Mstr, Naruto said. Well, if it gets my mama off my back I'll take it. Daijone said with a sigh. Hey guys, a voice said. Hey me. Penny trailed off as her eyes widened in surprise. Michael, is that you? Zoe asked, surprised at Michael's new look. Michael nodded as he was now wearing a black shirt with a white collar and sleeve cuffs, burgundy jeans with black suspenders worn loose around the hips, gray boots, and large gray glasses. His hair was now in deadlocks and were mostly dyed pink. Nice to see you're out of the closet, Naruto said with a smile at his friend. You can thank your mom and her pep talk, Michael said with a smile. Your dad is cool with this? Sticky asked with a raised eyebrow. He was after he went to talk to Miss Kushina last night at her restaurant, Michael said with a smile. Naruto covered his mouth as a laugh left his lips as he could only imagine how that conversation went. Now I'm not afraid to let my true self shine, Michael said with a grin. If you want to see, I can get the recording from your mom's security cameras, Sticky said as he took out his laptop. Oh, I definitely want to see this, Duke said with a smile. After a few keystrokes on the laptop, a video of Kushina and Coach Collins in the rising tide. Put it on mute, Naruto said, knowing only what his mother would say to the man. They saw in the footage Coach Collins yelling something at Kushina before Kushina picked up a hatchet and started yelling something at the coach. I want to hear what she's saying, Daijone said as she tapped a button on the laptop. And if I hear anything about you not treating your kid with respect, I'll get you like a fish. You stay out of this you bit dash, Collins was saying before he was cut off. So your kid is gay, he's still your kid, so be a man and accept it, punk butt. Kushina yelled before she threw her hatchet, embedding it in a wall to make her point. Huh, I expected her to actually hit him, Penny said. Give her a minute, Naruto said before they heard a crash and screaming from Coach Collins. Ouch. Penny said. Well, at least your dad is off your back, Sticky said to Michael. Yeah, plus daddy is happy. I still like sports, so me and him are actually cool, Michael said with a smile, glad his dad was somewhat accepting. It's amazing what a psycho redhead threatening you can do. Have you do some soul searching, Duke said with a smile. Speaking of that psycho, my mom told me she's going to try getting you all waitress outfits, Naruto said. Oh yeah, please tell Miss Kushina I already have some prototypes ready for her to look over, Michael said with a smile at Naruto. You make outfits? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. I don't make, I create, boo, Michael said with a smile. I'm actually wanting to see this. Penny said with a smile. Watch me, I can turn the nastiest outfit into a masterpiece, Michael said, confidence in his voice. Can you do that with something her daddy tries throwing on her? Daijoni asked, looking at Penny. Army surplus? Michael asked with a knowing look at Penny. Sadly, Penny said as her dad told her to meet her at the army surplus store after school. Leave it to me, girl, Michael said with a smirk. Penny smiled back at Michael at this. Oh, this I gotta see. Naruto said, wanting to see Michael's work. Later after school, Penny and Naruto walked into the army surplus store where they saw Oscar waiting for Penny near some clothes. Why are you here? That psycho mama planning on sending you to the Marines? Oscar asked. He gave me a ride here, daddy, Penny said with a sigh. Oh, I'm here for the entertainment value. Naruto said with a smile. What entertainment? Oscar asked with a raised eyebrow. You'll see. Daddy, please don't do this, I like the clothes I already have, Penny said. Look, baby girl, I know you're growing up and someday you're gonna go to college and get married, and as your father it's my job to do everything I can to prevent it. Oscar yelled before he dragged Penny into the back of the store. He almost sounded eloquent for a moment there, Naruto mused as he followed. He noticed Michael sneaking his way into the back of the changing areas before the teen smirked as he entered them. Naruto smirked as he knew this was going to drive Oscar crazy. Okay, Penny, try this on, Oscar said as he handed his daughter some clothes before turning to Naruto. Don't try getting a peek, hooligan, Oscar said with a glare. Hey, I respect women, Mr. Proud, so you don't need to worry about me, Naruto said. How do I know you're not lying? Oscar said with a glare. Have you met my mom? Naruto said with a shudder at what his mom would do if she found out he was a pervert. Fair point. Oscar said as he put his head into a newspaper. Psst, Penny. Penny looked, seeing Michael poking his head out of a curtain. Back here. Michael said. Naruto raised an eyebrow, hearing machinery in work. Penny, you're just like your mama, come on. Oscar said. Out came Penny, making Naruto's jaw drop as she was wearing blue jeans, a white top with a matching hat. That Michael is skilled. Naruto thought. What, where'd you get those? Oscar said, shocked. You gave them to me, daddy, Penny said with a smile as she could tell Naruto was checking her out. Here, take these, Oscar said, handing her more clothes. This time she came back out with her hair all poofy and curled, with a green top and dark green pants with some tears. What? Here, Oscar said, handing her more clothes. This time she came out wearing an outfit you'd see a drill sergeant wear, but with a red rose in her hair hole, also wearing sunglasses. Get back in there. Oscar said, handing her a sailor outfit. She soon came out wearing really fitting jeans with a blue streak around the waist and a navy top. Gah! Oscar said, even throwing an astronaut outfit on her only for her to come out with an astronaut suit a model would wear. Who the heck is back there, VERYYYY? Oscar yelled before he went into the changing room. He then came out wearing a nursemaid outfit. And posted. Naruto said with a smile as he took a picture before running off laughing. Oscar blinked at this before he pulled back the changing curtains. Michael? Oscar asked, surprised seeing the teen boy's new look. Hi Mr. Proud, thanks for calling me VERYYYY. Michael said with a smile as he ran after Naruto, laughing at Oscar's face. Later at home. Suga Mama was rolling on the floor seeing Oscar in his nursemaid outfit on her phone. What's going on? Trudy asked as her and Kushina came out of the kitchen. Yeah, we were catching up on old times, Kushina said with a frown. Penny and your boy pranked Oscar, Suga Mama said, showing them her phone. The two women then looked at Oscar's outfit before Kushina burst into laughter. Penny then came into the house with a smile on her face with Oscar in his regular clothes grumbling. Check me out, Michael made me look amazing in everything Daddy threw on me, Penny said, showing Trudy and Kushina the pictures Naruto posted. I may have to have him give me a makeover. Kushina said, very impressed by Michael's work. I can't believe it, Oscar said with a grumble. Oscar, you can't help it if Penny takes her looks after me. Trudy said with a smile at Penny. Well, if I had my way she'd have my looks, Oscar said, crossing his arms. What looks? Sugar Mama said with a smirk. Trudy and Kushina laughed at this. Wah, even the cat and Mr. Chips is laughing at me, Oscar said, seeing the animals also rolling around. Oh, calm down boy, at least you made a good nurse, Suga Mama said, holding up her phone. Oscar groaned at this and looked at Naruto. I didn't give you permission to post that, boy, he yelled at the. Oh, you had it coming, Pops, Naruto said, rolling his eyes. Hey, look at this, someone put a hashtag keeper on this one pic, Penny, Kushina said with a smile, pointing at the pic of Penny in her workout gear. Penny looked at the picture and saw that the hashing said keeper. You are never allowed to wear clothes like that ever again, Oscar said. Penny asked me to take her to the gym, so she will need that, Oscar, Trudy said with an unamused look. Woman, I dash. Trudy glowered at Oscar while fire appeared behind her, making Oscar jump back. Gym. Naruto said before he gained a small blush on his face. Ooh girl, you got him wrapped around your finger, Sugar Mama whispered to Penny. Hey, if I want to beat Lacianiga I play to win, Penny whispered back to her grandmother. That's my grandbaby. Sugar Mama said with a proud smile. I've been meaning to ask you, Oscar, do you have a permit to even own these monkeys? Kushina asked. Yes, I have them. Trudy made me get them, Oscar said, silently thankful he listened to her for once. Then why do you put them in a tiny cage? Naruto asked. Well, what do you want, boy, a 5-star suite? Oscar asked, crossing his arms. Plus they try to escape when you try to feed them, you nasty snacks, Suga Mama said. You know me and Naruto here know how to cook, among other things. Maybe we can turn this disgusting snacks thing you're doing into a masterpiece, Kushina said. I don't need your help, woman, Oscar said with a grumble. Oscar, just listen to her, you may learn something, Trudy said with a sigh. There ain't nothing a woman can teach me that I can't learn myself, Oscar said. Excuse me? Trudy said. Abort, Naruto whispered as he backed up away from Oscar. That's my boy, Kushina said with a smile as she was glad Naruto knew when to distance himself from a bad situation. Besides, all this lady does is chop fish, anyone can do that, Oscar said with a dismissive wave of her hand. Excuse me, now, Kushina said. I'm serious, man, shut up, Naruto whispered. You may run a great restaurant, but I run a business, Oscar said to Kushina. Oh really? Well, how's about this, Mr. Man? I make a snack for Mr. Chips and you make one of your snacks whatever he eats first wins, Kushina said with a grin. Fine, if I lose I'll take your advice, if you lose you have to admit you were wrong, Oscar said. $50 on Kushina, Suga Mama said, taking some money out of her wig. Same, Trudy said, taking out her wallet. Trudy. Oscar said with a look of betrayal. What, you haven't tried her cooking, Trudy said with a shrug. Same here, Daddy. Penny said as she had already learned a few things from her job with Kushina. Sorry Mr. Proud, but she's gonna knock your pants off, Naruto said. We will see, Oscar said with a determined look as he entered the kitchen with Kushina. Hour later. Mr. Chips was happily eating the snack Kushina ate while Kushina smiled. Ha! Kushina said, crossing her arms. He hasn't tried mine yet. Here Mr. Chips, try this, it's banana a goat cheese, Oscar said as he handed the monkey a tray of snacks. Blia. Matatabi made a gagging sound. Mr. Chips sniffed at the snacks before he threw the tray at Oscar, hitting him in the face, making a clanging sound. Ah, I love the sound of metal hitting, dimwit, Suga Mama said with a smile. Oh come on, he and the other monkeys always eat everything I give them, Oscar said. Yeah, once then they throw them back, Naruto said with a shake of his head. Whole Mr. Chips nodded and called his hands at Naruto, confirming what he said. Well. I'm waiting, Kushina said, smirking. Okay fine, I'll take some advice from you, Oscar said with a scowl. Not some, all my advice. Kushina said with a glare. Baby steps mom, Naruto said with a chuckle. Does she even make food for animals? Penny whispered. Oh yeah, sure, the restaurant has its own brand of animal treats that we give to people who come in with their pets, Naruto said. Okay woman, what's your advice? Oscar asked Kushina. Well, your main problem is that while you try new ideas for flavors they always end up nasty tasting, Kushina said with a slightly green face. Well, all the other flavors are taken. Oscar yelled in frustration. Yeah, and? You gotta mstr good flavors before you make your own, Kushina said with an annoyed look. She means start out simply, then when you're getting better then try to experiment. Naruto said. That's my boy, Kushina said. Yeah, try something that's just chocolate and something else, Naruto said as he knew lots of people like chocolate. I think I can try that. Oscar said with a nod. And in the spirit of good sportsmanship I'll have Naruto try the first snack, Kushina said. Naruto paled at this while Kurama, who was on his shoulder, snickered. And if Naruto won't, Kurama can. Kushina said with a glare at said pet. Kurama then chose this time to run out of the pet door, leaving a crack in the door from the force of him running. Yeah, Kurama has the right idea, I need to get home, Naruto said quickly before everyone ran after Kurama. Come tomorrow I will make you a chocolate treat so sweet it'll give you cavities. Oscar said. Better not kill him, Pemi grumbled as she sat down next to Sugamama. I ain't gonna kill him, Oscar said with a dismissive wave. Oh please, I bet $100 he falls the first bite. Sugamama said. Bet you, wrinkled old hag. Oscar yelled with a determined look. Next day at the restaurant. Naruto groaned as he sat in his seat. Did we have to do this here? The toothpick and me bet if it works I'll put it in our to-go snacks, Kushina said. Naruto sighed at this before he spotted Penny walking by in a waitress outfit. Whoa, he said, seeing her outfit. She was wearing a red waitress uniform with a red skirt and white frills at the end, and she was making it look amazing. Yeah, that Michael does great work, Kushina said with a smile. Naruto simply answered with a nod in agreement. Would you just ask her out? Kushina asked Naruto, making him flinch and fall out of his seat. Mom! Naruto yelled in embarrassment. Oh come on, Kushina said with a roll of her eyes. Mom, I've only been here a few weeks, besides I barely know anything about her besides that she likes animals. Naruto said. Then take her out and learn. Kushina said. Don't you have other employees to torture? Naruto said with a flat look as he looked at a menu. Not really, Lacey Aniga quit and Zoe got into the school band, so I let her go with my blessing, Kushina said. Daijone didn't quit? Naruto asked, surprised. She's surprisingly good, got her skills cooking for her siblings, Kushina said. Well, at least you have some other employees besides me to torture, Naruto grumbled. What you say? Kushina asked with a slight edge to her voice. I said get me some ramen, woman. Naruto yelled. Howdy y'all. Oscar said as he came into the place as a crash was heard. Hey proud, Kushina said looking at Oscar as she had Naruto's head pressed against the bar. I give you proud snacks, choco chips. I was originally going for chocolate covered dough ball but I didn't have the time, and before you ask, yes, cookie dough, Oscar said. Well, let's get it over with, give me the bag. Naruto said holding out his hand. Oscar handed the bag to Naruto waiting to see what he thought. As Naruto put the chip to his mouth, Oscar has his phone out taking video. He bit the chip. That's actually not bad. Naruto said. Chocolate-covered potato chips, who knew, Kushina said with a smile as she took one. Oh yeah, yeah. Oscar said doing his own little victory dance. These are actually decent daddy, Penny said with a smile as she tried one. Thanks Pen, what are you wearing? Oscar yelled seeing her waitress outfit. My waitress uniform. Penny said with a roll of her eyes. Michael made them himself. Kushina said. Of course he did, Oscar said with a groan as he slapped his face. Okay, proud, I'll sell these here, Kushina said with a nod since she was a woman of her word. Oscar smiled at this and held out his hand to Kushina, which she took and shook. Hey, when you make those dough ball, give me a call. Naruto said with a smile. Sugar mama, get ready to eat your own words. Oscar said with a laugh as he ran home to rub his victory in his mom's face. Okay brat, enough ogling to help get back to work, Kushina said with a grin at Naruto, who was still looking at Penny, who went back to work. I am not ogling anyone, woman, Naruto said as he got up to go get his work apron. Don't back sass me boy, Kushina said with a glare at her son. Naruto simply rolled his eyes and got to work. A few days later. Naruto was at the movie theater in line to get snacks with Sticky and Duke. Geez, these prices are highway robbery, Naruto said with a shake of his head. You said it, buddy. Duke said as he nodded. Your mom must pay good if you can afford all this stuff, Sticky said. If you want a job you can ask her, Naruto said. And work with Daijone? Sticky asked with a raised eyebrow. But if the money's good, isn't it worth it? Duke asked. Again I say, and work with Daijone? Sticky asked flatly. Naruto doesn't have to worry, he's already working with his dream girl, Duke said as he and Sticky chuckled. Oh, for crying out loud, I look at Penny for an extra moment and I never hear the end of it. Naruto yelled. Speaking of her, ain't that her? Duke said pointing forward. Make sure she doesn't know we're seeing Sonic 2 nerd boy, Sticky said with a chuckle at Naruto. Oh shut it midget, Naruto said with a shake of his head. Yo, Penny, he yelled to her, getting her and her group's attention. Oh hey Naruto, Penny said with a smile as she and her group approached. Daijone instantly ran to Sticky and hugged him tight. What brings you here? She asked with a smile. Not you, woman. Sticky yelled as he tried to get loose. Naruto laughed at this before Lacianiga hugged his arm. I'm gonna need that to get snacks, he said with a nervous chuckle. I could feed you. Lacianiga said with a flirty smile. God, this chick is clingy, Naruto thought with a sweat drop. Ha. No, my pain. Sticky laughed before he groaned from Daijone's hug. So what brings the proud squad here? Naruto asked as he got loose from Lacianiga. I did not agree to that name. Lacianiga said with a slight pout at Naruto's escape. Me and Daijone just got paid and we decided to treat Zoe and Lacianiga to a movie, Penny said. Where's Michael? Naruto asked curiously. Either at the beauty salon or thinking up new outfit ideas at home, Penny said. Well, at least he's keeping busy, Naruto said, glad his friend was keeping busy. So what movie are you all going to see? The new Wizard Kelly one or the new Sonic movie? Zoe asked. Naruto wanted to see Sonic, so he's paying, Duke said with a chuckle. Hey, decent video game movies are more rare than the Loch Ness Monster, so don't judge me, Naruto said. What about you girls, what you all gonna see? My Little Pony, ha, ow. Sticky said as Penny stepped on his foot. Gah, my dogs. Naruto shook his head at this before he spotted a poster, a Wizard Kelly poster nearby. Geez, is there any event he doesn't sponsor? He asked as he read the poster. I know, right, he even is sponsoring a spelling bee coming up. Penny said. So you all coming to see Sonic with us or what? Duke asked. Yeah, sure, it's the only halfway decent thing out, Penny said with a smile while Zoe nodded at Duke with her own smile. Ah, I wanted to see my boy Edward as the new Batman, Daijone said. That's on streaming now, Sticky groaned as he struggled to get loose from her hug. You wanna share your password, Sticky baby? Daijone asked with a smile. Never, woman, freedom. Sticky said as he ran into the theater room. That, my best friend, Penny said with a sigh as Daijone chased Sticky inside. Naruto opened the door for the ladies like a gentleman. Aw. Duke said with a laugh as he passed him. Don't start. Naruto said with a glare. The group found their seats with Naruto sitting next to Penny. Daijone, will you stop acting like a fool before we get thrown out? Zoe said, seeing that Daijone was still trying to catch Sticky. Gah, fine. Daijone said as she sat down next to Zoe. As the lights came down and the preview started to play. Dang it, woman, I wanted to see Batman. Oscar's voice called out. I told you, Oscar, we're taking the twins to a family-friendly movie. Trudy said. Please no, Penny muttered as she and Naruto spotted Oscar and Trudy each carrying a twin. Bibi and Cece spotted Penny and smiled and waved at her, getting Oscar and Trudy to look where they were waving. Penny. Oscar yelled as he walked up the steps and saw Penny with her head leaning on Naruto's shoulder. Penny, proud, I told you no dating. He yelled. Said everyone in the theater. Who shushed me? Oscar demanded as he looked at the crowd of people in the seats. Everyone, trying to watch a movie here, buddy. Naruto said. Oscar, hush. Trudy said. Oh, hush yourself, hoodlum. Oscar said with a dismissive wave of his hand. Oscar was going to say more, but the movie usher came out. Cece was put in Naruto's lap. Ticket, sir, the man said with a deep Austrian voice. Ticket? Sure, where it at? Oscar said as he patted his body down. Sir, then you must come with me, the other people are trying to watch the movie, the man said. Whoa, hey. Oscar said as the man picked him up like a trash bag. Don't resist, sir, or I'll have to use force, the man said as he took out a baton. Let me go, you rent a cop, OW. Oscar yelled as the usher hit him as he took him out of the theater. Trudy sighed at this as she sat down in her seat. Popcorn? Naruto asked Penny with a smile as they heard the movie start. Cece grabbed herself a handful and ate some as Naruto gently patted her belly. 2 hours later at the proud home. Being thrown out of a theater, how else can you embarrass us, Oscar? Trudy asked as her and her husband entered the house with Naruto, Penny and the twins close behind. You're asking that now? Sugar Mama asked with a smirk. Oh, Mr. Proud got thrown out, Naruto said as he put Cece down. Thank you for carrying her, Naruto. Trudy said with a smile as she took Cece from Naruto. What you done to my grandbabies now, fool? Sugar Mama said as she looked at her son who sat down on the couch. Nothing after the usher threw him out after he hit him with a club, Naruto said with a laugh. Penny was on a date, what did you expect out of me? Oscar said. It wasn't a date, Daddy, Zong. I was with all my friends. Penny said as she placed Bibi in the playpen along with Trudy, who put Cece in there. Your head was on his shoulder. Oscar said. I was. Getting comfy and my chair was lumpy, Penny said. See ya at school, Penny, not you, Mr. Proud, you'd probably be thrown out there next, ah. Naruto said before he ran out of the house. Yeah, you better run. Oscar yelled after Naruto. So after you were thrown out, what did you do? Trudy asked Oscar. I ran into an old friend from my school days, Oscar said. You had friends in school? Suga Mama asked with a raised eyebrow. Whatever, bottom line is, Penny, get the encyclopedia you're getting in the Wizard Kelly spelling bee so I can beat that old JRK. Oscar said. Oh yeah, Kushina said she was gonna make Naruto enter that, Trudy said. Daddy, you can't make me go up against him. Penny said with a frown. Sure I can, him and Crandall Smythe's brat too, Oscar said with a smile. Crandall Smythe, your old rival from high school. Trudy said. Boy, you only beat him once to his 999, Suga Mama said as she turned the channel on the TV. And that one I'll hold on to until the back hair falls off your back, Oscar said with a laugh. Don't make me get ugly with you boy, Suga Mama said with a glare. Too late, OW. Oscar yelled as Matatabi bit him on the leg. Told you I love that cat. Sugar Mama said with a smile. With Naruto. Mom, there's no way in hell I'm entering a spelling bee, Naruto said as he sat down to eat dinner with his family. Oh hush, I want to show that Smythe JRK my kid's better than his kid. Kushina said. The guy who you rejected a job at the restaurant for? Minato asked as he cut his steak. Yeah, to be honest, if he lost weight he could pass as a proud, Kushina said. You're starting to sound like Mr. Proud, ouch. Naruto yelled from Kushina, throwing a spoon at him, nailing him in the forehead. Shut up and eat, we start practicing spelling after you're done, Kushina said with a glare at her son. Crazy old bat, Naruto grumbled before he started to eat. I heard that. She said as she readied another spoon to throw. Okay. Let's calm down. Minato said, taking the spoon. Wife. Then get some control over your woman. Naruto yelled. Minato looked at Naruto with a raised eyebrow before he turned to Kushina. Go ahead, hit him, he said, handing her the spoon back. Man, you whipped more than Mr. Proud. Naruto said before he ducked as Kushina threw another spoon at him. Uzumaki household. It had been a few days since Kushina had decided to have Naruto enter Wizard Kelly's spelling bee, and today in the Uzumaki household Kushina was currently drilling Naruto in spelling random words while Kurama watched from his bed in the living room. I still say this is bullshit, Naruto said with a scowl as he sat on the couch. Hush, you're a winner and you're gonna win that spelling bee, Kushina said as she held a thesaurus. Why do I have to do anything? Naruto asked, putting emphasis on himself. Because if you don't, I'll cut you off from ramen for the next 6 months. Kushina yelled as she turned the page of her book. Oh, I'd like to cut something off of you, woman, Naruto growled. Touch my hair and you'll regret it. You don't hear Penny complaining, do you? Kushina said, looking up from her book. I haven't heard anything from Penny because her dad has been drilling her for this bullshit just like you, Naruto said. Oh, shut up boy, Kushina said as she waved her hand dismissively. DMN, is this what Grandma and Grandpa did with you or something? Geez, Naruto said. Okay, spell mother, Kushina said, ignoring Naruto's question. BIC, ow. Naruto spelled with a smirk before he held his head from Kushina hitting him with a wooden bakken. Kurama snickered at this from his seat on the carpet nearby. Shut it, you, or I'll shave you, Kushina said with a scowl as she pointed her bakken at the family pet. How's the spelling going? Minato asked as he came inside the house after a day of work. As it's been the past 2 days, Mr. Cucked, Naruto grumbled as he held his head. Okay, ouch, Minato said with a flat tone at his son's jab. Well, if you were a man then I wouldn't say that, would I? Naruto said with a scowl. Double ouch, geez, you are your mother's son, Minato said. How brat spell certifiable, Kushina said, looking up from her book. Kushi dash, Naruto was spelling before he ducked, avoiding a swing from his mother's bakken. I am not crazy, my parents had me tested. Kushina yelled in a rage. Did you pass? Naruto asked with a snicker. Honey, why are you making him do this anyway? You don't even like spelling bees, Minato asked, getting his wife's attention before she attacked her son again. To show that toothpick Oscar I can get my baby more prepared than he can. Should have saw that coming. Naruto muttered. Kushina, why are you so competitive? Minato grumbled. 'Cause winning is what matters. Kushina bellowed as she stomped her foot. And if this makes Penny hate Naruto? Minato asked with a raised eyebrow. She'll get over it. Kushina said, waving her hand dismissively. Oh really, would Trudy get over it? Minato asked. Kushina paused at this before she looked away from Minato, DMN know-it-all husband and his ability to make a good point. She grumbled. Who are you and what have you done with my dad? Naruto asked with a slightly impressed tone. I'll have you know son, I'm not as cucked as you think. Minato said with a smile at his son. Really? Naruto asked with a disbelieving look. Look son, just do your best at this and don't worry, I'll make sure your mom doesn't go too far, Minato said, ignoring his son. Then you better get a dog collar and a leash out. Naruto said with a grin. Oh, I'm way ahead of you. Minato said with a grin of his own. God, now I don't know who to call the freaky 1-inch, Naruto muttered as he covered his face. With Penny at her house. Penny was in her backyard with her dad playing horse while Matatabi watched from the sliding door. Okay Penny, if you make this shot from half court you can stop spelling early for today, Oscar said as he passed his daughter the basketball. Didn't you do something like this and mess up? Penny asked as she spun the ball on her finger. Watch it Missy, now let's see if you have any skills, Oscar said with a slight glare. If she does it's not for you boy, Suga Mama said as she came out to the backyard. Hush up, Mama, man, you don't hear the cat insulting me, Oscar said. If she could talk she probably would, Suga Mama said with a smile as she let Matatabi sit next to her. Swish. Waha. Oscar turned around to see the ball bouncing under the basket. Can I go in now? Penny asked with a bored look at her dad as she looked at her dad. Do that again, Oscar said, passing the ball to her. Penny caught the ball and threw it behind her back and easily made it into the basket. Where did you learn to shoot like that? Oscar asked. From you daddy, Penny said as she shook her head at how forgetful her father was. I did? Oscar asked with a tilt of his head. You forgetful moron, you had her shooting hoops since she was in pigtails. Suga Mama said. Oh yeah, Oscar said with a smile as he reminisced a little about the past. Okay everyone, dinner is ready. Trudy called out from inside the house. Sweet freedom, Penny said as she threw the ball behind her back and again made her shot before she ran into the house. Dang, I must have been a good teacher, Oscar said with a chuckle as he followed. That or she's not yours, Suga Mama said with a chuckle as she also followed. Matatabi looked at the ball as it rolled over to her. Swish. Oscar poked his head outside to see Matatabi. Did she just? Nah, he said as Matatabi walked past him. Penny, Oscar and Suga Mama walked into the dining room and sat down for dinner. While Trudy finished putting the twins in their high chairs. So how's the spelling going honey? Trudy asked her daughter. Pretty good, Lord knows how Kushina's training Naruto. Penny said, slightly worried, seeing Lord only knew what Kushina was doing to train Naruto. With Naruto. Spell respect. Kushina yelled as she held up her Bakken like a pointer. FYO, ow. Naruto was spelling before he was struck in the forehead. Back with Penny. Wanna talk about pretty good, you should see my baby's skill on the court, she made them shots like they were nothing. Oscar said with a smile as he sat down in his seat. Then why not let her try for the basketball team? Trudy asked with a raised eyebrow. I don't want my baby playing with no boys. Trudy. Penny said, doing an imitation of her father before Oscar could respond. Suga Mama laughed at this. She did you pretty good, she said. Trudy also laughed a little at this as she had to admit Penny nailed her imitation of her father. Meanwhile Bibi and Cece also laughed. Oh ha 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 Missy, I don't know where you got your smart mouth from, Oscar grumbled as he cut his steak. She got her sass from you and me boy, Suga Mama said with a proud smile at her granddaughter. And the attitude to back it, Penny said as she and her grandmother high-fived. So you think she's ready for the spelling bee tomorrow? Trudy asked Oscar. I know it, she'll eat that hooligan up, Oscar said with a smile. Suga Mama paused at this. Not too easy, she said with a shake of her head. Penny choked on her drink at this as she had a pretty good idea what her grandmother was considering saying. The next day. Naruto and his family were inside the contestant waiting room where all the contestants were waiting for the spelling bee to start with their parents nearby. Naruto soon spotted Penny and her family arrived and waved at her. Penny smiled and waved back at Naruto before Oscar grabbed her wrist stopping her. "No fraternizing with the enemy," Oscar said with a glare at Kushina who was nearby giving him a watching you motion with her fingers. "Oscar, will you grow up? It's a spelling bee, not the Hunger Games," Trudy said as she pushed a twin stroller into the room. "Sides, I thought you wanted to beat, what's his name, not Kushina," Suga Mama said. "I do. I want my baby girl to beat Crandall and that red-headed witch," Oscar said glaring at his old rival and his son Timothy. "Is Kushina wearing a dog collar?" Penny asked with a curious look. "You too young to know about stuff like that," Trudy said with a shake of her head at her best friend. Suddenly a tall man holding a basketball came into the room. This was Wizard Kelly. "Okay, my young contestants, the wizard is ready to get this competition started, y'all," he said with a smile at the teens. "He is taller in person than on TV," Naruto muttered. "This loon actually talks in the third person?" Kushina asked with a snicker as she had heard him on TV or the radio, but she figured it was just a act for public appearances. "Talk about a ego," Minato said to his wife with his own smile. "Okay, let's have all the proud parents take their seats in the audience, y'all," Wizard Kelly said as he looked at the parents. "Okay, baby girl, remember our family motto, if you lose you're out of the family," Oscar said with an encouraging smile at Penny. "Oscar," Trudy said as she pulled on his ear and started to drag him towards the exit. "Boy, if that was the family motto you would have been thrown out at age 3, Suga Mama said. "Okay, boys and girls, let's get this thing started," Wizard Kelly said as he led the teens out to the stage and pointed at several empty seats on the stage. Penny sat down in her seat and looked at Naruto as he took his seat next to her. "Hey Penny, no matter who wins we are friends, right?" Naruto asked with a small smile. "Of course I'm no fool," Penny said with a smile at her friend as the spelling bee started. The words kept coming, but in just 2 hours all that was left was Naruto, Penny and Timothy. "Phew, the whiz is running out of words, y'all." "Okay Timothy, your next word is exceptional, as in the wizard is an exceptional ball player, y'all," Wizard Kelly said with a smile. Naruto rolled his eyes at this while he pinched his nose at the ego this guy had. Timothy fiddled with his ear before he looked at Wizard Kelly. "Expti-, he was saying while he had his finger in his ear before he was interrupted. "He's wearing a wire," Kushina yelled from the audience. "Search him," Oscar yelled from his own seat. "Mr. Timothy, please take your finger out of your ear so one of my security guards can look in your ear," Wizard Kelly said, deciding to make sure no cheating was going on at his event. Timothy sighed as he did so while a security guard looked in his ear and reached into his ear and pulled out a earbud. "ONAL, they all heard from the earbud. That little SHT's a cheater. Let's tar and feather him," Kushina yelled out as she stood up from her seat. "Down girl," Minato said as he grabbed her arm and pulled her down into her seat. "Sorry Timothy, but this means you're disqualified, that just leave you two," Wizard Kelly said looking at Naruto and Penny. Naruto and Penny looked at each other for a moment before they both nodded. "Mr. Kelly, is it possible for us to both quit and make it a tie?" Penny asked. I don't know y'all, I mean there's nothing in the rules that says anything about ties," Wizard Kelly said as he looked over the rulebook. "If it helps we are both willing to split the prize," Naruto said. "What?" Oscar and Kushina said in a rage. "Well, I guess I could let it happen, only because the whiz is out of words y'all," Wizard Kelly said as he threw away his dictionary. "This is bullshit. Fixed. Fixed," Kushina yelled out. "I said down," Minato said. "I mean come on, there has to be a OW," Oscar said as Trudy had him by the ear. "The winners of the Wizard Kelly Spelling Bee are Penny Proud and Naruto Uzumaki y'all," Wizard Kelly announced to everyone. The audience applauded at this while Penny and Naruto smiled at the audience and soon at each other. Later in the lobby. "I'm so proud of you baby," Trudy said as Penny was wearing her own gold medal while Naruto had one of his own. Well, I ain't, OW. Oscar said as Sugar Mama whacked his knee with her cane. Hush up, boy. Sugar Mama said before she smiled at Penny, approving of what she did. Brat, who told you you could throw in the towel? Kushina yelled at Naruto. The moment I chose to be a friend instead of her enemy, Naruto said with a smile. Either way, you're a winner in my book, buddy, Minato said, giving his son's head a hair tussle. Thanks, Dad, Naruto said as he fixed his hair. Now let's eat to celebrate, Minato said. I hear that. Sugar Mama said with a happy grin. Cookout or restaurant? Trudy asked Kushina. Let's go cookout. I'll call Sunset and we can all have a barbecue at my place, Kushina said with a smile. Can I call my boys? Naruto asked, wanting to invite Sticky and Duke. Go ahead, son, Minato said with a smile. Woo. Naruto said happily as he pulled out his phone to call his friends. You can call your girls too, Penny, Kushina said with a smile at the teen girl. Penny smiled, glad her friends were welcome too. Come on, Minato, me, you, and Felix can go get the food. You have a good barbecue? Oscar asked as he dragged Minato to his car. Top of the line, Minato said with a smile as he followed Oscar. I hope he can keep those two from burning the place down, Trudy said with a sigh. Relax, my man knows what he's doing, Kushina said with a smile. I hope so, Trudy said, knowing Oscar. Well, of the three husbands, Minato is the least dim-witted, Suga Mama said as they all left. Later. Everyone was in the Uzumaki backyard while Minato was at the big barbecue with Oscar and Felix. Only Minato was telling the wives no fish on the grill. I stand corrected, Suga Mama said with a sigh. No, you stand on the corpses of your victims, bwahahaha. A old man with green hair said in Spanish before he cackled madly. This was Papi Boulevardes Leishaniga's grandfather. Hey, who invited the old man Joker? Correction, Spanish Joker grandpa, Naruto asked from his table with the other teens. This is Papi, he's my grandfather. Leishaniga said with a smile at her grandfather. Why does he look like a makeup-less Joker? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. No idea, Leishaniga shrugged as she didn't really know or care. Only joke around here are those whiskers, bahahaha, he cackled. Hey, watch it, Pops, I understand Spanish. Naruto said in perfect Spanish to the old man. Papi looked at Naruto in surprise before smiling. Ah, finally someone who understands me, he said. Keep the insults to Suga Mama and we're cool, Naruto said with a chuckle as he had to admit the old man had good jokes. Ha 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 ha. Papi laughed as he walked away. You speak Spanish? Sticky asked with a raised eyebrow. Oh sure, Mom said to learn a third language back in middle school, so I chose Spanish, Naruto said with a nod at Sticky. So you speak Spanish? Leishaniga said in Spanish with a smile at Naruto. Indeed I do, Naruto said with a smile back. Meanwhile nearby Penny was glaring at Leishaniga and growling lowly. Down girl, don't need to end up on YouTube, Daijone said, placing her hand on Penny's shoulder. Whoa, hey, check this out, he is making inside-out burgers. Felix said as Minato was stuffing the cheese into the meat. And he is still adding cheese on it. Oscar said as he prepared to bite his hot dog, only for Kurama to jump up and swipe it, giving a bite to Matatabi and Puff. Oh, you flea-filled pests, get back here with that hot dog. He said as he chased them. Just get another hot dog, Oscar. Trudy said, shaking her head. It's the principal woman, you never mess with a man's meat. Oscar said. Pfft. Naruto said loudly, snickering. Ah, looks like your son and my daughter are talking to each other in Spanish. That's so cute, Sunset said to Kushina with a smile. Not so cute to Penny. Trudy muttered, seeing her daughter's face. My baby girl is talking to a boy in Spanish? Felix asked with a frown. Who wants to make bets about who he ends up with? Kushina asked with a smile at her two friends. I want in, Suga Mama said with a smile. I'd try and convince him to get with both, but I think they'd kill each other before it could get there, Kushina muttered. Yeah, Lack and Penny don't seem to get along all that well, Minato added. Plus what kind of moron would actually think that would work? Trudy said. The parents all looked at the readers for a few moments with flat looks at this. What are y'all looking at? Sugar Mama asked with a raised eyebrow. Nothing, so what's Naruto's plan for his cut of the prize money from the spelling bee? Trudy asked Kushina. Well, Naruto said he wanted a car but he needs approval from both of us first, Minato said. Great, just what we need, a team with some death trap car, Oscar said as he cooked some burgers and steaks while Felix made hot dogs. Just you wait, he already has his car picked out. And what color? Minato said with a chuckle. Orange? Kushina asked with a smile. Well, originally red, but he thought orange was better. Minato said with a nod. Do you have anything like veggie meat? Lacey Aniga asked. Girl, you need meat on those bones, what do you not eat? Minato said. I need to look good for dash. Girl, if you want to look anything like your mom you need to put in the work, Kushina said as she placed a burger on Lasaniga's plate. What's that supposed to mean? Lacey Aniga asked. My son may be a moron but I'm not, and here's a free tip: if you want a chance you need to not look like a living skeleton, Kushina said with a chuckle at the teen girl's surprised look at being called out. Lacey Aniga said with a look at her food. But that doesn't mean start inhaling food, just enough to not make you a skeleton, Minato said. Me and your mom and Penny's mom work out 3 times a week, you can join us if you want, Kushina said. Yeah, Penny's joining in for mother-daughter time, Trudy said. Yeah, that's why, Suga Mama said with a laugh along with Poppy as he could tell what was going on. Time is something that hit you hard long ago. Poppy said before giving a cackle laugh. So Minato, you have a lot of space in your backyard, Felix said as he looked at the backyard. Yep, been looking into putting in a pool. Minato said. Well, I'm a contractor, I could help you put it in, Felix said with a smile. Good idea, Felix, let's help Minato put in a pool, Oscar said with a smile. This wouldn't have anything to do with my wife having to wear her bathing suit as she swims, does it? Minato asked. Hey, I don't look at other women, my wife would get me like a fish, Oscar said. Ditto, Felix said. Yeah, mine too, finally someone who knows my pain, Minato said with a smile at the two. Hey, where's the food? We're starving here. Naruto yelled. The trio of fathers looked at the grill to see the food gone. Hey, where'd it all go? Minato said. Oscar, Trudy said pointing nearby. They all looked and saw Kurama, Matatabi and Puff on the ground groaning as their stomachs bulged. You food thieves! Oscar yelled. Let's put them on the grill. Felix yelled as he held up a spatula. Oh boy, can you imagine the workout you all are going to have to do to shave off all that meat? Naruto said as he picked Kurama up. Kurama burped as Naruto held him. Puff, you've gone all chunky, what did you do, inhale the food? Sugar Mama said. Zong Matatabi, Penny said as she struggled to pick up her cat who meowed in pain. Don't worry, I have extra food just in case this happened, Minato said with a smile. Well, go get it, I'm starving, Kushina said with a smile at her man. Huh. Naruto said, throwing his hands up as he dropped the fox. We have chips, so sit tight kids, Trudy said to the teens. Nacho Parta I. Bobby sang. Watch it, toothpick singer version, don't go inhaling the nachos, Naruto said. But I love nachos, oh, Bobby sang. Does he really have to sing everything he says? Kushina muttered. Uncle Bobby is a unique soul brother, Penny said with a giggle at her uncle. He reminds me of a guy who got an octopus from my grandmother, rapped every word he'd say, Naruto said. Oh, did he have shades on? Bobby asked. Yeah, called himself Killer something, I think he signed with the Wizards music label, Naruto said. Baby, he's the Killer bee, he's my music partner from high school, child. Bobby said with a smile. Say what, you mean that guy with the jacked older brother? Oscar asked. The very say I me. Okay kid, soup's on. Minato yelled out, bringing out a few plates of cooked food with Felix. Careful, they are hot. Felix said to the teens as he placed a table on the table. Okay, who wants to have an eating contest? Oscar asked with a smile at the big plate of hot dogs. I'm always ready for one, Naruto said. Just watch yourself, you looking at the wiener eating king. Wait, Oscar said, realizing what he just said. Ha, you owe me money, boy. Kushina yelled at Naruto with a laugh along with Trudy and Sunset. Wait, what? Oscar asked with a glare at Kushina. She's messing with ya, boy, just watch what you say, Suga Mama said with a shake of her head. What do I get if I win? Naruto asked. Who knows, maybe a date with Penny. Trudy said with a smirk at Penny. Not betting that. Oscar yelled as Trudy laughed. That man is not fun. Poppy said. Oh, don't be a stick in the mud, Oscar, Felix said. Oh, so you're okay with your daughter looking to catch his attention? Oscar whispered to Felix as he jerked a thumb at Lacey Aniga, who helped Naruto put on a napkin. Wait, what? Felix said with wide eyes. That boy is slow, Poppy said with a cackle. How's about this, if I win you let me give Penny rides without trouble, you win I don't give her rides anymore, Naruto said. Oh, he playing it hard. Sugar Mama said. Deal. Oscar said with a grin at Naruto's challenge. Sugar, Kushina said with a chuckle. Get ready, get set. Eat. Felix said. 10 minutes later. I demand a recount. Oscar yelled in frustration as Kushina held up Naruto's arm in victory. Oh, hush up, boy, take your loss like a man, Suga Mama said. How did you do that, Bruda? Duke asked Naruto. My boy's an expert eater, kid, shut down ramen stand in Japan. Kushina said with a proud smile. You poured Gatorade on the hot dogs, that had to be cheating. Oscar said. Clearly you never watch eating contests, people do it all the time, Naruto said. So what kind of car are you getting? Penny asked curiously. You will see since you get first ride, Naruto said with a smile at Penny. Want me riding in the front, or the back? Penny asked with a flirty smile. Huh? In the front, of course, you're my friend, why not tell front, Naruto asked, getting flat looks from the teens. Expert in many things, dense moron in others. Poppy said with a laugh. Later that night in Naruto's room. Naruto was at his computer looking at a website for buying cars since he figured he may as well try and find a good deal on his dream car. Oh my stomach, Kurama whined from Naruto's bed. Your fault, meat lover, Naruto said, glancing back at him. I'm an animal, I can only resist so much, Kurama's whined. Gonna have to put you through some exercise to burn those off. Naruto said. Why are you on my back? You ate a lot too. Kurama yelled in frustration before he groaned from the pain. Yeah, but my metabolism kinda cancels it out. Naruto said with a smile. I hope you get fat later in life. Kurama yelled. And I hope you enjoy your diet mom is putting you on, Naruto said as he looked at his computer. I'm gonna SHT in your bed, Kurama grumbled after few moments. Naruto looked away from his computer. The hell you will, he yelled. Oh, go find your PP wagon. Kurama yelled at his owner. You know I could just leave you outside, right? Naruto asked with a glare. No, I hate sleeping outside. Kurama yelled in a panic. Then shut it. Kurama grumbled, enjoy my farts, he grumbled before he passed gas in Naruto's bed. Naruto instantly got up and grabbed Kurama. Outside. Ah. Kurama said as he was dropped. Have fun sleeping out here. Naruto said before he closed the door. Come back, let me in. Kurama said as he scratched at the door. When he didn't get any response, he growled in frustration. Fine, I'll go find somewhere else to sleep, with burgers, and blackjack, in fact forget the burgers. Kurama said as he walked off. As he walked across the street he passed by a moving van. Maybe I can crash with Penny, Kurama thought before he was picked up. Aw, you're adorable, a female voice said. I'd run away but I'm too fat to get far. Kurama thought as he looked at who picked him up. She was a teen girl around Naruto's age with dark skin and brown eyes. Her hair was styled into 22 braids, 19 of them are a natural black color while 3 of them were dyed a scarlet red color, and 2 of them are tied in a double loop resembling a ribbon. She was wearing an olive green sports jacket with a white t-shirt underneath, ripped navy blue jeans and dark green sneakers. Now what's a fox doing in the suburbs, and with a collar? She said as she looked at his collar, Kurama. That's a cool name, she said with a smile. Well, at least this one has good taste, Kurama thought as the teen girl pet him. Maya, what are you doing? We just moved her and York already taking in strays, a teen boy with brown hair and dreads said he was wearing a baseball cap and had a hoodie on. He's not a stray KG, he has a collar, Maya said as she held Kurama. Then you should see if the collar has an address, KG said with a sigh as he pulled out a handheld game and went inside a house that was next door to Penny's. Maya scowled at her brother before she looked at Kurama's collar and saw that it indeed had an address on it. How you live across the street? Why would they let you out at night? She asked. Kurama mentally smirked as he then made a begging face at Maya. Aw, poor baby, you'll take you to your home and make sure your owner knows how much of a jackass he is, Maya said with a reassuring smile. Ha! Payback is AB. Kurama thought as Maya carried him across the street. She walked up to the door and knocked. The door opened. Hey BU. Maya trailed off as a shirtless Naruto answered the door. Oh geez, Kurama, did you harass a neighbor? Naruto asked with a frown at Kurama. And no, 6-pack. I mean wash rack, I mean Jack. Maya said as she tried to compose herself. God, does this guy naturally attract women or something? Kurama thought with a eye roll. I'm sorry, did Kurama cause trouble for you? Naruto asked with a frown as he took Kurama from the new girl. No, I found him outside, name's Maya, me and my family just moved into town, Maya said. Oh cool, I moved here a few months ago, name's Naruto, Naruto said. Yeah, just me, my bro and my dad's. Maya said, hoping this information wouldn't get the regular response she was used to. Huh, dads, does that mean you have to buy twice the deodorant? Naruto asked with a friendly smile. Maya's eyes widened at this before she chuckled at Naruto's attempt to make a joke. Well, one dad is a cop. Maya said with a shrug. My dad's a game warden, so sort of a cop. Naruto said. That's cool. Maya said with a nod, finding that a cool job. I like your dreads, I swear dreads just scream to me, I am here, so look at me. Naruto said with a snicker as Maya laughed a little too. Well, I gotta go, hope to see you around, Naruto, Maya said as she turned around to leave. Yeah, you too. Naruto said with a smile as he closed the door. And another rival for the dim-witted male's affection enters the game, Kurama said with a laugh. What do you mean? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. Oi. Kurama groaned before he ran upstairs. The next day at the rising tide. Naruto approached the restaurant and he soon spotted Penny outside the restaurant being confronted by the Gross sisters. Nubia, I don't have anything, so leave me alone, Penny said. Don't give me that, proud, the word is out that Psycho pays even her part-timers well, Nubia said with a glare. How's about you go bother someone else, blue, blue and bluer. Naruto said with a light glare as he approached. Oh, look here, Whiskers got comebacks. Nubia said with her own glare. I got another, but I try not to call women ashy. Oh, what did you say? Nubia said with a look of anger as her sisters moved to back her up. Just be glad I'm a gentleman, buck teeth, Naruto said with a leer at her. Hey, stop harassing my workers, get on, get. Kushina yelled. Woman, I ain't scared of some Medea wannabe. Nubia yelled out. You'll be scared of this. Kushina yelled as she pulled out a bakken. Oh snap, she got a sword. Nubia yelled surprised. It's a bakken now, get moving, or catch a beatdown. Kushina yelled from inside the restaurant. I have no idea what that is, but you're lucky we got stuff to do then deal with some ketchup head, Nubia said with a sneer. Naruto groaned as he held his nose and Penny looked at him confused. What? She asked curiously. She insulted her hair so I would move out of my mom's way, Naruto said as he grabbed Penny's hand and moved her. Forget this. Kushina yelled as she grabbed a shotgun from under the counter. OSHT. Nubia yelled as the sisters ran for it. I got your ketchup head right here. Kushina yelled as she fired and blasted a hole in the restaurant's wall. A new hole. Scatter sibs. Nubia yelled to her siblings before they all ran. My mother people, Naruto said with a sigh at his mother. DMN straight. Now what you need, brat? Kushina asked as she put away her shotgun. I'm off to go pick up my new ride and I promised Penny a ride so dash. Ah okay, have fun, you two don't do anything that would make the toothpick have a heart attack, Kushina said with a smile. Naruto and Penny blushed at this before they left. So where you picking up your new wheels? Penny asked Naruto as they walked down the sidewalk. There's a dealership down the road, Dad already made the arrangements, I just need to pick up the car, Naruto said with an excited smile. Penny smiled at this, gulp. Naruto was excited. Though don't worry, I'll still use my bike from time to time. He said. Good, Penny said with a smile as she loved Naruto's bike. They soon came up to a car dealership and as they walked in a man in a suit approved them. Can I help you? The man asked Naruto. Naruto Uzumaki here to pick up my new car, my dad Minato called ahead, Naruto said. The man smiled at this. Mr. Uzumaki here to take your lady out for a ride in your new wheels, huh? He asked. Well, not exactly my lady, but she is my friend, Naruto said. My apologies, please wait here while I get your car, the man said with a nod before he left. Naruto nodded before he looked at Penny. Sorry about him, he said with a frown as he saw Penny's blush and figured she was embarrassed about people thinking she was with him like that. It's fine, Naruto, two teens together like that people are gonna talk, Penny said with a chuckle. Soon they heard honking as a sleek golden-orange Lamborghini with opened electro-automatic wing doors drove out of a nearby garage. Zong. Penny said with wide eyes as the salesman got out and handed Naruto the keys. When I pick a ride, Naruto said with a smile. Proud home. Trudy came into the living room and saw Oscar standing at the closed door. Shouldn't Penny be back by now? He asked. Oh Oscar, Naruto's not the kind of guy to take her to a place like Makeout Point or anything, Trudy said with a snicker as Oscar flinched. Give him time, if she keeps trying to get his attention, that may well happen, haha. Suga Mama laughed. Not helping. Oscar said with a panicked face. They all then heard a horn honk outside. Oscar looked. God, look at this, some obnoxious Lamborghini owner is parked outside, he said. Who here has the cash to afford? Wait, what was the prize for that spelling bee? Trudy asked as she realized something. It was $500,000, oh, Suga Mama said as she realized what Trudy had just realized. Oscar slammed the door open as the window rolled down to show us shades wearing Naruto and Penny. What up, y'all? Naruto said as he leaned his shades down. Hey daddy, check out his car doors. Penny said as she got out as her door went up before she got back into the car. Boy, I don't want you dash, Oscar started to say before he was cut off. Bet's a bet, Mr. Proud, Naruto said with a smile. Wah, but Oscar stuttered out. See ya later, we're gonna have some fun. Naruto said as he drove off. Hey! I didn't approve dates. Oscar yelled after the two teens trying to chase after them. If he thinks this is bad, wait until he remembers the promise he made Penny when she was 12, Trudy said with a chuckle at her husband. Do tell, Suga Mama asked with a smile. Trudy took out a slip of paper and handed it to Suga Mama. Absolutely no dating being alone with a boy or even lusting for a boy until Penny Proud turned 16 signed her father, God help me, Oscar Proud, Suga Mama read. He made that after losing a basketball game bet with Penny. Trudy said with a smile as Penny's 16th birthday was months away. Oh ha 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 ha. Sugar Mama laughed so hard her teeth came out. Oh dang it, not again, she said, grabbing her teeth before they hit the ground. With Naruto. Naruto was heading out for his car and spotted Maya and another teen boy he could only assume was her brother walking out of their house, which was next door to Penny. Hey Maya. Naruto called out as he approached his car. Sup Naruto, nice car, Maya said as her and KG crossed the street and approached Naruto. So who's the guy with his face glued to that game? Naruto said with a chuckle at how KG was playing on a handheld. This is my brother. Hey KG, this is another human, say something. Maya said. Her brother glanced up. Is this that shirtless guy you never shut up about last night? He asked before he groaned from Maya elbowing him in the gut. You two heading to Smithville High? Naruto asked with a smile. Yeah. Maya said with a nod. Jump in, I'll give you a ride, Naruto said. Sweet. KG said as he got in the back and Maya got in the passenger side. Just a moment, I need to pick up another friend, Naruto said as he got in the car and started it before he backed up the car. Your friend lives next door to us? Maya asked looking at Penny's house. Yeah, Penny Proud, you'd like her. Naruto said with a smile. Sis doesn't like other humans usually, OW. KG said as Maya reached back and hit him. Brothers, Maya groaned as she sat back in her seat. She's nice, if you give her a chance. Naruto said with a smile. Penny soon came out of her house. Hey Naruto, she said with a smile. Got your new neighbors in here, you'll have to sit in the back this time, Naruto said as he gestured to the back seat. Penny paused at this and looked at Maya before she composed herself. Relax girl, it's just a new friend, she thought as she got into the back seat behind Naruto. Sup. I'm KG. The chick glancing at Whiskers is my sister Maya. KG said. KG, does that stand for something? Penny asked. Nah, it's a nickname, his first name is Francis, Maya said with a smile. Francis Leibovitz Jenkins, KG said with a groan. Man, I see why you go by KG, Naruto said as he winced. Says the boy named after a ramen topping. KG said with a snicker. It means maelstrom. Naruto yelled as he drove off. Later that day. Naruto sat at his lunch table with Duke and Sticky, and as he sat down he spotted KG walking into the cafeteria. Yo KG, you can sit over here, he said. KG walked over and sat down next to Naruto. KG, meet Sticky and Duke, Naruto said as he gestured to his two new friends. Sup, KG said. Sup / what's up Brutta, Sticky and Duke said together. You sure you're okay with me sitting here? KG asked. Well, why wouldn't I be? Oh, is this because of the two dads thing? I pretty much told your sister I didn't care. Naruto said with a wave of his hand. Yeah, Naruto already explained it to us too and we don't gossip, Sticky said with a nod. Now word of warning, don't tell that girl Daijone over there, anything she'll blab it to everyone, Duke said pointing over at Penny's table, pointing at Daijone. She's named after mustard? KG asked with a raised eyebrow. This got the trio roaring in laughter. You lying, she is not named after mustard, Naruto said, getting a moment to catch his breath. Nah man, look it up, KG said with a smirk. Naruto pulled out his phone and a quick search later he was laughing again. Ah, I needed that laugh. Sticky said. So you're a gamer? Duke asked KG, taking note of his PlayStation shirt. Yup, love gaming and tech in general, KG said with a nod. Cool, we have been needing a fourth guy online, Sticky said with a smile while KG nodded. That's cool, so what's your sister into? Naruto asked. Well, animals for one, is kinda hard-headed, KG said. Huh, just like you. Duke said to Naruto. Hey, I am not hard-headed. Naruto said with a frown. Bro, you take a frying pan to the head from your mom and still stand afterwards, Sticky said. KG snorted at this. Yeah, laugh it up, Naruto said with a chuckle as they started to eat. Meanwhile with Penny. What y'all think they're laughing at? Daijone asked curiously. Must be good if it's got them laughing so hard, Zoe said as she ate some of her burger. Penny spotted Maya coming into the cafeteria and scowled a little. What's up with you, proud? Lacey Aniga asked curiously. A third girl she thinks is after her man, Daijone said. I told you that in confidence, Penny said with a flat look at Daijone. Penny, you know Daijone can't keep a secret. Zoe said as she rolled her eyes. Sure I can, I didn't tell anyone about your crush on Duke, oops. My point proven. Zoe said with a flat look. Look, I'm just being paranoid, let's invite Maya to our table, Penny said. Penny turned around and saw the girl in question, her being sat down lined her head close to Maya's stomach. Mind if I sit here with you all? Maya asked. Nah, we are, ow. Lacey Aniga said as Zoe elbowed her. Sure girl, grab a seat, Daijone said as she scooted over. So Maya, what are you into? Penny asked curiously. I'm into animals, and helping people. Maya said as she looked over her food. That's cool, I'm into animals and helping people too, Penny said with a smile. Huh. Guess Naruto was right, you're not superficial, Maya said with a nod. You met him already? Lacey Aniga asked curiously. Well, last night his fox got out and I talked to him, when he didn't have his shirt on, Maya said. Ah, you got a good first impression, huh? Michael asked with a smile. Yeah, all 6 abs worth, Maya said with a smile of her own. Whoa, he's ripped. Lacey Aniga asked with a smile. I can do my laundry on those abs type ripped, Maya said with a smirk. Your brother seems to be enjoying himself over there. Penny said, pointing out KG with Naruto's group. Good, maybe he can interact with humans more now, Maya said with a sigh. Y'all don't have many friends, do you? Daijone asked. Well, nowadays it's kinda hard for us to make friends, Maya said with a frown. Why's that? Lacey Aniga asked curiously. None ya business. Maya said with a hard tone. Hey, it's cool, we're not nosy, Penny said with a nod. She could respect someone's privacy. Well, most of us. Zoe said with a glance to Daijone. So what you think they were laughing at? Daijone asked, gesturing to the boys' table. Probably you. Maya said in a simple tone. Oh, my man isn't one to laugh at me, Daijone said with a smile as she waved at Sticky. Hey! Can I have some grey poupon? Naruto yelled to Daijone before him and the other guys started to laugh. Grey what now? Daijone said with a raised eyebrow. Penny, Zoe and Lacey Aniga covered their mouths to stuffing their laughter. Maya's mouth meanwhile was twitching from not trying to laugh. Or how's about some honey, Duke said with a smirk. Dusseldorf. Sticky yelled with a laugh. What they going on about? Daijone asked while Penny, Zoe and Lacey Aniga were failing to hold in their laughter. Those are types of mustards, Maya said as she finally broke laughing. What does that have to do with me? Daijone asked with a raised eyebrow. Oh my. Dijon is a type of mustard, Maya explained. Daijone gained a surprised look at this. I hate my parents, she groaned out. This made the boys and girl laugh harder, seeing she finally got it. Oh, hush up. Daijone said with a scowl. Later that day. And this is where me, Penny and Dij works, Naruto said. Bring the newcomers to the neighborhood into his mother's restaurant. It smells good in here, KG said as he entered. You have good taste, kid, you get a free dessert, Kushina said with a smile as she came out from behind the counter to greet Naruto. Hey mom, we have new neighbors, meet Maya and KG, Naruto said. I know I saw you talking to that one last night, Mr. Answer the door shirtless, Kushina said with a teasing look at Maya. I was getting ready for bed so Sumi, Naruto said with a dismissive wave of his hand. Okay Naruto, Penny and Dijon, you're all on the clock, so get to work, Kushina said with a smile at her employees. Ugh. How did you hear about that? Daijone groaned as she went on to the back. I work with food, you think I couldn't get it? Kushina asked with a chuckle. That, and I texted her, Naruto said with a snicker as him and Penny followed Daijone to get ready for their shift. Okay, you two, first meal's free, what you feel like having? Kushina asked Maya and KG. I'll take a chicken sandwich, with Dijon. KG yelled so it could be heard in the back. Oh hush it, tech boy. Daijone called out while Naruto and Penny could be heard laughing. Okay, what about you? Kushina asked Maya. How's about advice for one? Why does one like yourself make a living cooking when you can do anything a man can do? Maya asked. Oh, you're one of those kinds of kids. Kushina said as she put down her pencil for a minute. Wear a helmet. Naruto yelled out from the back. Shut it, brat. Kushina told before she turned to look at Maya, look here miss, fight the system, there is nothing wrong with feeding people that need it. I enjoy feeding people who need it, especially my family, so if you have a problem with a woman like me doing that then you need to grow up, she yelled. KG looked between the two as they glared at each other wondering if a fight would happen. I like this lady, I'll have some miso ramen please, Maya said with a small smile. Hey, you didn't even flinch from my glare, I like you, Kushina said with a chuckle as she wrote down her order. Thanks Miss Kushina, Maya said with a smile as she definitely liked Naruto's mom. Penny silently growled at this as she watched from. Oh hush your jealous self and help me, Daijone said as she got the ingredients for ramen. I refuse to lose to her or Lacey Aniga, Penny grumbled under her breath. If you learn to make good ramen maybe that can help, Daijone said with a giggle as the whole school knew Naruto loved ramen. Out of my way. Penny yelled as she pushed past Daijone determined to make the nest ramen. Say, Maya is it, we've been looking for a DLVRY girl, are you interested? Naruto asked as he poked his head out. Feeding hungry people looks good on a college application, Maya mused before she nodded. Well if you want to help I also volunteer with feeding the hungry on Sundays, Kushina with a smile at the girl. That sounds awesome, Maya said with a nod as she was liking Kushina more and more. At the proud home. Oscar was in the kitchen making a new snack. What are you doing in there? Suga Mama asked as she came into the kitchen with Puff and Matatabi close behind. Well Mama, I give you proud snacks choco dough bites, the first layer sweet milk chocolate, the second nice coconut and in the center. A nice helping of chocolate chip cookie dough. Oscar said holding out a tray of small chocolate ball. You've been taking advice from Penny's boy haven't you? Sugar Mama asked. Penny doesn't have a boy. Oscar yelled in a panic. Yes sure and I'm proud to be your Mama, Sugar Mama said with a flat look. Well anyways when Naruto said he'd try out my dough ball if I made them I thought hey why not go a bit further with chocolate and coconut I mean everyone loves chocolate and coconut. Oscar said. Well your choco chips weren't bad these better not be either. Sugar Mama said as she grabbed one. You're gonna try one? Oscar asked surprised. I removed you from my will so sure, Suga Mama said as she ate one, I hate to say it but it's another good one, she said. Yes. 2 for 2 baby. Oscar said. You should do a strawberry chocolate themed one for Valentine's Day, Trudy said with a smile as she came into the kitchen. Proud family snacks choco berry hearts. Trudy you are a genius. Careful last time you were so sweet we ended up with the twins, Trudy said with a chuckle at her husband. Haha Trudy. Oscar said with his own chuckle. Matatabi sniffed at the chocolate treats curiously. No chocolate for the pets, Trudy said with a firm tone. Which is why I made these, special made cat biscuits, they have bits of fish and gravy inside them perfect for the household feline, Oscar said as he placed a fish-shaped piece of food in front of Matatabi who ate it. After a few moments Matatabi smiled and purred as she rubbed against Oscar's leg. Haha, 3 for 3 papa on a roll. Only because you listened to Kushina and Naruto. Sugar Mama said with a sigh as she was slightly annoyed with Oscar's ego. Maybe I should listen to other people more often, Oscar said as he petted Matatabi. Trudy smiled at this but soon spotted a mouse on the counter. Geek. A mouse, she yelled in terror before she jumped onto a table. Ah! Oscar yelled, jumping up too. Get that mouse, Tabi, he yelled. Matatabi looked at the mouse and sniffed at it before she gagged and left the kitchen. Oh great, a million cats and we get the stuck-up one. Oscar yelled in frustration. Oscar, I want that mouse out of my house. Trudy told. Use some of your old proud snack stuff. I always told you that stuff could kill rats. Sugar Mama said, jumping onto the couch holding Puff. I am a vet, so no killing, Trudy said with a shake of her head. I'm home. Penny, don't come in here. Trudy said in a panic. There's a mouse, get out before it gets you. Oscar yelled out. Penny walked into the kitchen and saw it before leaning down and putting her hand down. The mouse looked at her hand and sniffed it before getting in her hand, letting her scratch and pet it. I tell you, her and that boy like Doolittle, Sugar Mama said as she got off the couch. I'll take this little guy outside, Penny said with a smile. Please do that, Trudy said as she got down, as did Oscar. Still don't know why we have a cat that won't eat mice, Oscar grumbled out. Cats don't always do that, what did you expect, a Tom and Jerry chase? Sugar Mama said. I expect that fluffball to earn her keep here. Oscar yelled. She tried your cat biscuit, didn't she? Trudy said with a sigh at her husband. That was 10 minutes ago, Oscar said with a dismissive wave of his hand. Trudy sighed at this baby steps she thought as they got ready to feed the twins. With Penny. Okay little guy, stay out of my house, okay? My daddy will probably go all Looney Tunes trying to catch you if you don't, Penny said as she put the mouse down in some grass. The mouse seemed to snicker before running off. Hey Proud. Lacey Aniga called out as she ran over. Watch it Lacey Aniga, I just released a mouse, Penny said. Don't joke about that Proud, Lacey Aniga said with a shudder as she hated rats and mice. Penny giggled at this. What you need? She asked. I wanted to ask you if you wanted to help me with the idea of how to make it so the new girl doesn't have a chance with Naruto, Lacey Aniga said with a smirk. Penny rose an eyebrow at this. I mean, come on, if we don't do something he's going to be all over that girl, Lacey Aniga said as she could tell Maya had qualities Naruto seemed to like. Penny scowled at this but hesitated as she remembered that Naruto valued loyalty and technically Maya was her friend now. Well? You in or not? Lacey Aniga asked with a raised eyebrow. Look Lacey Aniga, I need to think on this, I'll text you later, Penny said. Don't take forever Proud, Lacey Aniga said with a scoff as she went back to her house. Penny rolled her eyes at Lacey Aniga as she went inside her house. Hey Mama, can I talk to you? Penny asked as she went into the kitchen. Of course, what's wrong? Trudy asked as she looked up from the stove where she was cooking. It's not a bully, is it? I swear I'll shove my cane dash, Suga Mama was saying before she was cut off. No, it's not a bully, I'm just having a problem with the new girl at school, Penny said with a sigh as she sat down at the kitchen table next to the twins. Let me guess, boy problems? Trudy asked. It ain't that she got two dads, is it, because I already whacked Oscar for that once today. Sugar Mama said with a scowl. I apologized already, woman. Oscar yelled out from the living room. Daddy apologized? Penny asked, surprised as her dad never apologized even when he was wrong. Yeah, he met the new neighbors and was talking about how you should probably not be friends with their kids, Sugar Mama said. Daddy! Penny yelled with a scowl. Oscar! Trudy yelled with her own scowl. It's not that they were gay, woman, I just didn't want Penny bullied because she's friends with their kids, Oscar said as he came into the kitchen since he wanted to be clear. Well, I'm already friends with them, and that's kind of the problem. Maya kinda likes Naruto too. Last night Kurama got out and she saw him without his shirt on, whole six-pack show, Penny said with a scowl. Olympic or wash my laundry rack? Sugar Mama asked. Laundry. Penny said with a growl at the fact Maya saw that before her. That boy has another girl interested. Hey, he has game like I did back in the day, Oscar said with a smile. What game was that, whack-a-mole? Sugar Mama said with a laugh. You'd know because you'd be what I was whacking, Oscar said with a laugh of his own. Anyway, Lacey Aniga told me she has a idea to make it that Naruto wouldn't be interested in her and asked me if I wanted in, Penny said. And what do you think? Trudy asked with a frown as she definitely didn't like this, but she wanted to see what Penny was thinking. Well, on one hand I want to go through with it, but on the other hand Maya's my friend, and if I do that I could ruin it with her and KG, Penny said. Well, if they are your friends, Penny, then you shouldn't go with it just because you're feeling jealous, Trudy said. Yeah, backstabbing a friend is never the way to go, Oscar said with a nod at his wife. Since when do you have good advice? Suga Mama asked. Since I started reading some books, Trudy suggested, Oscar said with a smile. You can read? Suga Mama asked with a raised eyebrow. I'll read your obituary, woman, Oscar said with a scowl. Sugar Mama brought her cane down on his foot. Youch! Oscar yelled in pain while the twins laughed. Penny, take my advice, ruining friendships over a boy is never the way to go even if the friendship is new, Trudy said as she placed her hand on Penny's shoulder. Thanks, Mama. Penny said with a nod. Plus Kushina said Naruto likes loyalty, Trudy said with a knowing smirk at Penny. Yeah, be loyal to your friends and he may just end up eating out of your hand, child, Sugar Mama said with a smile. Not if I have anything to say about it, Oscar grumbled to himself. Hush up, boy, and help set the table for dinner, Suga Mama said as she walked into the kitchen. Oh yeah, Penny, I got a call from Naruto's grandmother today, Trudy said as she and Penny got the food ready while Oscar and Suga Mama got the table ready. What did Miss Tsunade want? Penny asked curiously. She said they have a new animal in at the sanctuary and that they could use my help with looking it over since it's kinda a handful, Trudy said. What do they get now, an old goat like Sugar Mama? Ha ha. Oscar laughed. She didn't say, but I was thinking since Penny had such a good time last time she may want to go with me tomorrow since it's Saturday, Trudy said as they sat down to eat. Sounds great, I'm in, Penny said with a smile as she loved Tsunade's animal sanctuary. And Bibi and Cece could see all the kinds of animals they have. Trudy said as she rubbed her babies' heads. Maybe Fluffy could make Oscar his chew toy, Sugar Mama said, remembering the liger Penny told them about from her last trip. Nah, I don't think he eats twigs, Penny said as the two laughed. I'll have you know this is all muscle, girl. Oscar said as he patted his chest. What muscle? Sugar Mama said. Got more muscle than you, Oscar grumbled. You know, Oscar, if you want to grow some muscle you can come to the gym, me and Penny go, it's co-ed, Trudy said. Good, I can keep boys away from Penny, Oscar said. Bobby could do with some muscle too, that be man he told me about said it himself, Sugar Mama said. Yeah, he be a killer, be alright with a body like that. Trudy said with a small smile. How are you gonna convince Bobby to go? Oscar asked with a raised eyebrow. Uncle Bobby will do anything for Nacho's daddy, Penny said with a smile. And I got that killer bee to bring him as a backup plan, Sugar Mama said. I hear Mr. B is related to the instructor/owner down there, Penny said with a smile. Okay, let's eat, everyone, Trudy said with a smile at her family as she finished filling the twins' plates. They all started to eat and enjoyed their time together. The next day. Phew, you sure this ain't a zoo? Sure smells like one. Oscar said as they arrived at the sanctuary. Welcome to the Whirlpool Animal Sanctuary, folks, Jiraiya said with a smile as he came to greet them. Man, and I thought I had hair back in the day. Oscar muttered. Hey Mr. Jiraiya, Penny said as she waved at the old man. Jiraiya? The guy who writes those books? Suga Mama asked. The very same. Jiraiya said with a prideful smile. You are a god. Oscar yelled as he bowed to Jiraiya without thinking. Oscar, get off the ground. Trudy said with a glare at her husband. You should be bowing too, especially with the way you, ow. Oscar was saying before Trudy grabbed his ear. Don't pay attention to him, Trudy said with a nervous laugh. I see you brought your little ones, feel free to look around and see our various animals, Jiraiya said with a smile at the twins as he handed them some fruit snacks. Okay, Oscar and Suga Mama, you two watch the twins while I go help Tsunade with this new arrival you guys got. Jiraiya shuddered at this. Hope you brought a taser, he said as he led Trudy. Hold on, I'll go with you Mama, Penny said with a smile as she was curious about this new arrival. Come on, I want to see this liger, Sugar Mama said. Really? Oscar said. Come on. Sugar Mama said as she dragged him behind her and the twins. Jiraiya soon led Trudy and Penny to the new arrivals building. Hey babe. Trudy and Penny are here. Jiraiya yelled out as they entered the office area of the building. Good, I hope you brought a tranquilizer. Tsunade yelled from the back. Can't be that bad. Trudy said. Tsunade was shown with a box that was shaking and growling. What do you have in there, a Tasmanian devil? Penny asked curiously as whatever was in there was vicious from what she could tell. I wish, Tsunade said with a groan as she looked into the cage. Come on out Shikaku, you fat tanuki, she said. Tanuki? Penny asked curiously. Raccoon from Japan sweetie, Trudy said with a smile. Well, something like a raccoon dog. Jiraiya said. Graph. Shikaku growled, making the cage shake from its attempts to get loose. What's got him so wound up? Penny asked. I would find out if he would calm the hell down, Tsunade said with a scowl. Penny walked over and grabbed a treat. Hey Shikaku, if you calm down and let them look at you, I'll give you a treat, she said waving it in front of the cage. Gahahaha. Shikaku yelled as he made the cage fall off the table and break on the floor. They then watched as the Japanese raccoon dog ran out of the room and jumped out of an open window. We better go get him, we have guests looking at the animals today. Jiraiya said. Yeah, Naruto brought a new friend here today too, Tsunade said as they all quickly ran after the mad tanuki. With Oscar. Sugar Mama watched as Oscar, who got in a cage to get a toy BB get thrown out of the cage by the red ape inside. I wouldn't do that Mr. Proud, Naruto said as him and Maya approached. Why not, it's just a toy. Oscar said with a shrug. Son doesn't really like strangers and if you ticked him off he'd have tore you in half, Naruto said. Why is that monkey red? Maya asked curiously as she looked at Son who was looking at her curiously. Yeah, we rescued him from a fashion person testing dyes on him, got his hair stuck as red, Naruto said. The group heard snarling as they turned around seeing Shikaku running at them. It then jumped into Son Goku's pen. The ape roared at Shikaku as it approached. Rag, the tanuki roared also. It spun around the ape at a high speed biting at the ape. Someone get that tanuki out before that ape eats it, Maya said with a worried look. Okay, come here you crazy furball, Oscar said as he approached. Son roared at this and grabbed both Oscar and Shikaku and threw them both out of the pen. Mama! Oscar yelled as he flew out of the pen and crashed into a tree. Maya caught Shikaku before he could hit anything. Shikaku was still yelling and growling as he held his ears in pain. Hello, Maya said, spotting something metal on the animal's neck which she grabbed and pulled off. Shikaku then growled at the chip Maya was holding as it held his ears. A control chip, Naruto said with a scowl as he spotted what was in Maya's hands. What's that? Suga Mama asked curiously as she didn't know anything about modern computer chips. It's a chip some people use on animals they want to force to stay in a certain area. It emits a high-pitched whine when they leave the designated area, Naruto said with a frown. No wonder he went crazy, Maya said with a frown as she dropped the chip and stomped on it, destroying it. Shikaku stopped growling at this and started shake on edge now that the noise was gone. Ah, it's okay, the bad noise is gone, Maya said as she hugged Shikaku lightly and pet him. Shikaku slowly started to stop shaking and let Maya pet him. Hey, you have talent at this, Naruto said with a smile at Maya. Thanks. Maya said with her own smile. Ow, and I thought that white horse hit hard, Oscar said as he got up. You're lucky because Kokuo can kick hard, Naruto said. Let's get you looked at. Maya said with a smile at Shikaku. Put that little freak down, Missy, it's a monster, Jiraiya yelled as him and the others ran over while he was holding a catch pole. He had a control chip in his neck that made him nuts. Naruto said. Though if you keep calling him a monster he may take a bite out of you, Maya said with a glare at Jiraiya as she held Shikaku who was growing at Jiraiya. Come on, let's get this Japanese trash panda looked at. Jiraiya said with a scowl. Shikaku barked at this and jumped out of Maya's arms and bit down on Jiraiya's pee-pee. Jiraiya let out a loud high-pitched cry as he fell to his knees. Ouch, Naruto and Oscar groaned as they winced at this. The women winced at this too as even Jiraiya didn't deserve this. Okay Shikaku, let that pervert go, let's get you looked at, Maya said as she got down on one knee and held out a hand to the mad tanuki. Shikaku let go of Jiraiya and looked at Maya and growled cutely before he ran to Maya and jumped into her arms. Wow, it's like he's a different animal now, Penny said with wide eyes before Tsunade placed her hand on her shoulder. Can't win them all over, Penny, Tsunade said with a smile as she knew some animals vibed with certain types of people. Okay Maya, follow me so we can get your new fluffy friend looked at, Trudy said with a smile at the teen. Maya nodded as she followed Trudy back to the new arrivals building. Jiraiya was on the ground still groaning as he held his pee-pee. OSCK it up you baby, he didn't even break the skin, Tsunade said as she looked down at her husband. You'd be down on the ground too if he bit your dash, Jiraiya was saying before he got hit in the head by her. Hey Penny, Naruto said with a smile at his friend. Hey, how'd giving the tour go? Penny asked with a smile back. Well, Oscar here got pinched by Chome our Hercules beetle, kicked by Kokuo our horse, bit by Isabu, our alligator snapping turtle, and tossed by Son Goku our gorilla. Naruto said flatly. And still standing. Oscar yelled as he rubbed some of his wounds. Yeah, 'cause you're hard-headed, Suga Mama said. Tsunade stopped carrying Jiraiya at this and dropped him. Charlotte, she asked with a surprised look. I thought I recognized you. Sugar Mama said as she smiled and laughed. You know her, shouldn't she be a fossil like you then? Oscar asked with a laugh. She is ha. Naruto said as he laughed with Oscar. Pow! Both Naruto and Oscar were now holding their heads in pain from being hit by Tsunade and Suga Mama. Hush up boy. Tsunade and Sugar Mama said together. Oh, you two were friends? Penny asked as she went over to help Naruto up. Oh sure, me and Tsunade here used to be thick as thieves, Sugar Mama said with a smile as she reminisced. Yeah, we got into our own kinds of fun back then, Tsunade said. Yup, she was my maid of honor when I married your daddy, so show respect boy, Suga Mama said to Oscar, who slowly made his way to his feet. But, she looks so young, Oscar said as he looked at Tsunade, still surprised she was so youthful looking. It's a trade secret boy, your mom would do it but that would require giving up cake, Tsunade said with a smile. Sugar Mama like cake, Sugar Mama said with a smile of her own. Okay, let's go make sure things are going okay with Shikaku, Naruto said as he slowly got to his feet. Oh, walk it off brat, Tsunade said with a scoff. Yeah, whatever, Naruto said as they all headed for the new arrivals building. How are things going? Penny asked as they all entered the building. Pretty well now that Maya is keeping him calm, Trudy said with a smile as she took out her stethoscope since she was done. Now he just needs a collar with your info and he can go to a home, Jiraiya said as he came inside last since he was still recovering from Shikaku's bite. Wait, for real? Maya asked with wide eyes. I don't see why not, you and Shikaku definitely get along, just need to get you a exotic pet license and you're all set, Tsunade said with a smile and a nod at Maya. Maya smiled at this, of course I'll take him. My parents said I can have a pet and he's so cute. Maya said as she hugged Shikaku. Awesome, Naruto said with a nod and a smile at Maya. Yeah, we all got pets now, Penny said. Kurama poked his head out of Naruto's hoodie and jumped down to the ground and sniffed at Shikaku. Shikaku looked at him and the two sniffed each other in a circle before they both ran off into the sanctuary. Should we be worried? Oscar asked, knowing Kurama was mischievous. They are pets, what kind of trouble could they yell dash? Oh my god, that fox and raccoon thing have taken over the cafeteria, a worker yelled. Oh god, it bit me, another worker yelled as more screaming was heard. Somehow that doesn't surprise me. Naruto said. Looks like Kurama has a partner in mischief now, Penny said with a sheepish chuckle. The group then watched as Matatabi walked by dragging the two animals by their tails. Shikaku pulled his tail free from Matatabi and snarled threateningly at her. Matatabi hissed loudly, her eyes screaming death as she glared at the raccoon dog. Shikaku then ran to Maya yelping like a dog in fear as he jumped into her arms. That is one tough cat, Maya said with an impressed look. Ha ha. He's like a baby now. Oscar said with a laugh at Shikaku. Oscar then yelled as Shikaku bit his hand. Ah! Get it off, get it off. Oscar yelled as he ran around waking his arm as he tried to get Shikaku loose. Serves you right, boy, Sugar Mama said with a smile as the twins laughed at their father. You know the way these three act, it's like they're siblings. Matatabi was bringing them back like a big sister, with Shikaku being the mischievous little brother and Kurama being the big brother that joins in said mischief, Naruto said. Puff, get in there and play with your fellow animals, Suga Mama said as she pulled Puff off her head and placed him on the ground. Puff approached the three pets and after a few moments they all started to communicate with barks or hisses. Well, they are neighbors now, so at least they get along, Tootie said with a smile at the pets. Okay, let's get you home, your dad threatened to lock me up if you were home late, Naruto said to Maya. Ugh, dads. Maya groaned, rolling her eyes. Preach, sister, Penny said with a smile and a nod as she gestured to her dad who was being bandaged up by Tsunade. Maya laughed at this as she nodded back and fist bumped Penny. Naruto smiled at this, glad Penny and Maya were friends. Now don't be strangers, come on over sometime and we can hang, Penny said as Maya and Naruto headed for Naruto's car. Count on it, Maya said as she got into Naruto's car. Naruto got into the car and started it before he drove off. I'm glad you enjoyed seeing my grandparents' animal shelter, Naruto said with a grin as he watched Maya pet Shikaku. Thanks for showing me that place, it was great, though I'm not so sure I believe Tsunade is actually your grandmother, Maya said with a smirk. It's a family thing, we can be in our 60s and still look like we're in our 30s, Naruto said. DMN, I can name a lot of people out there that would kill for genes like that, Maya said. Naruto nodded at this as he had heard this all his life. I'm glad you and Penny are getting along, he said as he drove. Yeah, Penny and her friends aren't that bad, Maya said with a nod before she was silent for a few moments. So, you and Penny, she said with an inquisitive look. What about us? Naruto asked curiously. Maya sighed at this. Looks like KG wasn't lying about how dense he is, she thought. Shikaku laughed in a wheezing way at this. Hush you, Maya said with a smile as she patted her new pet. Naruto stopped outside of her house. Maya smirked before leaning over and kissing his cheek. Thanks for the fun time and the fuzzy new buddy, she said. Naruto's head lit up with a blush. Why, you're welcome, he said as he watched Maya get out of his car and go to her house. Kurama then poked his head out of Naruto's hoodie. DMN, I had the proud one pegged at making a move on you. Maya was just being nice, you idiot, Naruto said as he composed himself as he parked his car in the garage next to his house. Oi, Kurama groaned as he slapped his head with his paw at how thick his owner was. Come on, Naruto said as he got out of his car and let Kurama jump onto his head. Hee hee, Penny is gonna explode hearing this, Kurama thought with a snicker as Naruto walked into his house. So alright folks, that's all for today. Stay tuned for part 3. Do subscribe, like and share for more such videos. Also check out the story and author KFB Anime 87 on fanfiction.net. Press the bell icon to be notified first on release. See you in the next video. Till then, goodbye.